Good morning, happy Saturday. I know, don't adjust your TVs, don't adjust your volumes. We're back with another episode of AKP Sports Talk. That's sorry, I'm Korea. It's been a little while, so we're not going to do too much of a recap. We got places to be and people to see. So we're just going to get right into our best bets. Obviously, two games tomorrow, biggest games of the year. Obviously, winners are going to the Super Bowl. Here are my first two picks. I'm going to take the Ravens first half here, -2.5. You look at that play and you say, Korea, didn't you just take that last week? Yeah, I did. And how did that do for me? It didn't cash. How's it going to do for me this week? It's going to cash. Here's why. I was just a week early. I think the Ravens, are going to get out to a first half lead. I'm not taking anything full game here. This is probably one of the more, talked about games in terms of, storylines and whatnot. You have on the Ravens side, obviously, this is the first time they've hosted an AFC championship in a very long time. I think since the Joe Flacco days. And, we haven't seen that in a little while. And, this is Lamar Jackson's first AFC championship ever, his first appearance. We don't really know what to expect versus Mahomes, which is his sixth straight. So, obviously all the experience on the Chiefs side and, the we don't know what the script is, whether it's going to be the Ravens flock in the Super Bowl or the Taylor Swift Bowl, which nobody wants to see. So all these storylines. I'm just going to take the first half, and I'm taking the Ravens just to win the first half -2.5. I think the Ravens get out to a big lead, get out to an early lead, especially with all these injuries starting to pile up for the Chiefs. Obviously, one big injury for the offense, not huge, but in terms of veteran leadership on the pass catching, Kadarius Toney now out for this Chiefs team, and this line was open. I think Chiefs +3, and now it's open all the way to Ravens -4. So that line moved a whole point, in terms of the Ravens. So I'm just going to take them in the first half. I think last week, I think it was just, that if it wasn't for that one punt return, the Ravens first half would have cashed easily -6.5. And I think they do win -3 here, -2.5. I'm just taking them, first half here. I'm not taking anything full game. If I do had a lean full game, my lean would probably be the under. I did check the weather. It's probably going to be a little rainy and, probably more of a ground game. We know how, Lamar Jackson and that Ravens run offense is on the ground. And, I kind of expect, the Chiefs to probably at least try to mimic that, at least get a ground game going with Pacheco, maybe, involve Rashee Rice a little bit more now that Kadarius Toney, someone who did a lot of jet sweeps for them is now out, for this week's game. So, I do like the Ravens just to cover the first half spread -2.5. And then over in the other game in the NFC Championship, I'm taking this game to go over 51.5. I think I got it around -150, -112. I think that's grown to about -120 now. I think the line has grown into as well. I'm taking this game to go over. Look, it's beautiful conditions, going to be 70 and sunny. You couldn't ask for anything else. People are saying, "Oh, Jared Goff's not playing in a dome." Okay, well, he. Are we forgetting he played at Cal? So this is literally in his home backyard. Are we forgetting that he played for the Rams? Like he's played on that field many times. I'm just gonna take this game to go over. I think this is gonna be a really high scoring game. We talk about the Niners and how many offensive guys they have, and the big question all week for that Niners team is Deebo Samuel going to play? We found out yesterday that he is going to be playing, so that's a huge addition for this Niners for this Niners Niners offense that can't afford any big injuries right now, especially trying to get to their first Super Bowl and have their first one since VHS types were alive. That's how long it's been, Niner fans. And then for the Lions, obviously, this is their first time here, and they've relied so much on their offense, and I expect their offense to kind of be a big production factor again, especially with the Niners secondary that is pretty Swiss cheese. Sometimes we've seen, we saw how Jordan Love did the previous week against the Niners, pretty able to move down the field and really get Aaron Jones involved. We saw big big games in the receiving game for guys like Christian Watson and Romeo Dubes. Romeo Dubes had a big day yesterday, so I expect maybe a guy like maybe Jamison Williams or a big a field threat to really have a big day. So maybe Amon-Ra St. Brown is on Javarius Ward, maybe some other guys, for the Lions, maybe Sam Laporta expecting to have a big day. And, for the line and then for the Niners as well, we saw how the Lions pass defense is once again very Swiss cheese. And we saw how Baker Mayfield was able to move up and down the field, almost had that comeback against the Lions last week. So I expect, a lot more passing, expect Brock Purdy, to throw the ball a lot more, probably finding George Kittle. They love to target tight ends. We saw how many times Baker Mayfield targeted K. Dalton last week. So I expect George Kittle to have a pretty decent game. And then Brandon Ayuk on the outside as well. I expect him to have a big game as well. I'm just taking the over. I expect a lot of points on in this NFC Championship game. So those are my 2 picks. Sorry, I'm just taking the Ravens first half -2.5. I'm gonna take the first half. I'm not targeting anything full game in that game. If I do like the Ravens. The only thing I liked early was Ravens money line, but that line has grown to over 200, and it's just not really worth it. And then Lions Niners over 51.5. I'm taking the total. I hate the Niners. I don't know if the Niners, I don't know if the Lions can win this, so I'm just going to take an over, targeting a total in a nice weather game. Ari, I've yapped too much. What are you taking in these big championship games as we head to Super Bowl Sunday?
Yeah, I think we're going to see 2 different types of games. You talked about it as a lean. I'm going with the under in the Chiefs Ravens game. Ravens, bring the best defense in the league into this game. And then, I think they're gonna really look to rely on Gus Edwards and Justice Hill, maybe Dalvin Cook a little bit in the run game and kind of grind clock. So I'm going with the under in the Chiefs Ravens game. I think it's obviously it's always tough to take an under against Mahomes and the Chiefs offense, but I think just with what the Ravens defense has shown, they'll be able. I think my lean is the Ravens full game, but I'm more confident in just not many points being scored. So I'm going with the under in that game, and I'm going with fireworks early in the Lions 49ers game. I like the over 2 full game, but I'm just going first half, like a 17-13 type of first half, where you talked about it. Obviously, the Lions they're gonna be able to get stuff done. I think get to Niners secondary, and then we'll see kind of Gibbs to the outside as well, in the run game, and then obviously the Niners offense. Shouldn't have a problem as well moving the ball down the field against the Lions defense. So I'm coming with points early in that game. So Chiefs Ravens under full game, Lions Niners first half over.
You mentioned the Chiefs Ravens, full game under, and I mentioned that as a lean, and it makes pretty much sense. These are the 2 of the best defenses in the AFC. In terms of sacks, the Ravens are first, Chiefs are second. So expecting a lot of quarterback pressures tomorrow from for Jackson and Mahomes, and then excuse me, for Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes, and then for the Lions Niners. Look, you mentioned first half. I like that full game total over. You like the first half over. I think it's going to be a very electric game. I think the Lions, as you mentioned, Jahmyr Gibbs as well. Outside edge rushing the Niners. We they don't really do well tackling outside, and especially with the Jahmyr Gibbs and with his ability to break outside and his speed up field. So you mentioned that versatility on the ground. So I like this game just to go over, but you like him first half. I like him full game. Hopefully that cashes for both of us. And then obviously, I have the Ravens first half -2.5, and you have the full game under as my other lean. So, hopefully that cashes for both of us as well. You can find both of these plays, and also, I will be posting my full card pretty much in the next 15 minutes here for college basketball. Last week we went 5-6, trying to go for another 5-6, hopefully a sweep this time on Saturday. So I will be posting my full card for college basketball soon today, and obviously both of our picks for tomorrow's slate will be posted tonight once again on our Twitter, AKP Sports Talk, right down below. But that's going to do it for this episode. We will be back on Monday to do a recap and also just give some picks for some Mondays, whether it's college basketball or NBA, potentially looking at some potential Super Bowl picks. Ari, it's right around the corner. Isn't it crazy? But here we are. But thank you guys so much for tuning in for this episode. Thank you guys so much. That's Ari. I'm Korea. We will see you guys on Monday for our recap and potentially some Super Bowl previews. Thank you guys so